And the next one here, solving a percent mixture problem. The percent mixture problem's kind of like those value problems that we started out with, but this time we're working with percents. It says 2 factory plants are making TV panels. Yesterday, plant A produced 4 times as many panels as plant B. 4% of the panels from plant A and 2% of the panels from plant B were defective. How many panels did plant B produce if the 2 plants together produced 1,620 defective panels? So, starts off and says plant A produced 4 times as many as plant B. 4 times B. Those would be the number of panels. 4% of the panels from plant A, so 4% of A and 2% of B were defective. How many panels did plant B produce if the 2 plants together produced 1,620 defective panels? So 4% from A were defective, 2% from B were defective. That was the total of the defective panels. So again, this one we can solve by substitution since they said A was equal to 4 B's. We're going to go ahead and replace the A with 4 B's, and then we end up having to multiply that out. So 0.04 times 4 gives me 0.16. 0.16B plus 0.02B equals 1620. Both of those have B's in them. We're going to combine our like terms. 0.16 plus 0.02 would be 0.18B equals my 1620. And then, of course, all we need to do is divide. If I divide by my 18%, 1620 divided by 0.18 gives me 9,000. The question said, how many panels did plant B produce? B is what we found, 9,000 panels. Had it asked me for how many A produced, I would have had to go back up here and take 4 times the 9,000. So again, you have to be careful that you answer the question they ask. Just because you got to the end doesn't necessarily mean that's the one they want. They could be asking for the other thing. So pay attention to that. 14, 2 factory plants are making TV panels again. Yesterday, plant A produced 8,000 fewer than plant B. So, A produced 8,000 fewer than plant B. That's like having the less. I took the number from B and I subtract the 8,000 from it, not 8,000 minus B. So A is equal to B minus 8,000. 3% of A, so 0.03A, and 2% of B were defective. How many panels from did plant A produce if the 2 plants together produced 510 defective panels? So again, on this one, we're going to solve by substitution. We're going to replace the A with B minus 8,000. So 0.03 times B minus 8,000 plus 0.02B equals my 510. Here I have to use my distributive property when I multiply that out. So 0.03B minus 3% of 8,000. 0.03 times 8,000. 240. Plus 0.02B equals 510. Combining my like terms, since I have B's, 0.03 plus 0.02 would be 0.05B. Minus 240 equals 510. Want to solve it for B's, so I'm going to move my 210 to the other side. I've got to add my 240 to the other side. So 0.05B equals 510 plus 240, 750. And then I've got to divide by my 5%. B is going to be equal to 750 divided by 0.05, 15,000. So we found B. However, the question wants to know how many panels plant A produced. So just because we found 15,000, that doesn't mean that's the answer. B was 15,000. A was 8,000 fewer than that. So I have to take 15,000 minus 8,000. So A produced 7,000 panels. And that's going to be the answer to the question. One last one on this page. Kira invested her savings in 2 investment funds. The $5,000 she invested in Fund A returned a 3% profit. The amount that she invested in Fund B returned a 10% profit. How much did she invest in B if both funds together returned a 5% profit? So we had 3% on A and 10% on B, and we got a profit of 5% on both of them together. Both of them together would be A plus B. So 3% of A plus 10% of B gave us a profit of 5% on both of them together. We, however, know that there was $5,000 in Fund A. So A is equal to 5,000. We can replace our A's with 5,000. So 3% of 5,000 plus 10% of B is going to equal 5% of 5,000 plus B. Both of them together. Now we need to solve that equation. So 3% of 5,000 is 150. So 150 plus 10% of B equals 5% of 5,000 should be 250 plus 0.05 B using our distributive property over here. Now we want to go ahead and solve that for B. So solving that for B, we're going to move this over here, so we're going to subtract our 5%. We're going to move that over there, so subtract our 150. 10% minus 5% is 5% of B. 250 minus 150 is 100. Dividing 100 by 5%. 100 divided by 0.05 gives me $2,000 for how much she invested in Fund B. So a little bit different than the previous two, but think about those percentages and how you would write them with the variables you have, then substitute in what you need to substitute in, and solve. And that is the end of that homework page.